Hawk and Dove number 4, written by Sterling Gates, art by Rob Liefeld. We left off last issue with them seemingly beating the Dove stand-in who was Swan, and then we get a definite beating of this Hawk stand-in that was Condor, and Condor turned out to be an old man, and they've got questions for him. This issue picks up, it's an entire interrogation issue, that's all it is. So Hank's father pulled some strings and made it so that Hawk and Dove could get some questioning before they're pulled in by the actual feds, which I don't know why he wasn't arrested by the actual feds immediately, considering it was a presidential thing, but whatever. So we just got a recap of exactly what they did, and they're saying, like, all right, well, we've made it so you can't turn into Condor, and if you attempt to, we're going to shoot you before you can. Now, we've got a couple questions for you. A, why are you trying to kill us? B, what's with this weird knife? C, why were you trying to kill us with this weird knife? And basically, he's not saying anything. So Hawk wants to try the bad cop part of the good cop, bad cop routine. So Dove and this detective, who I'm not going to bother remembering the name of, step outside. And the detective's like, good cop, bad cop doesn't actually work. Like, it's just a thing for TV. And Dove's like, yeah, well, just let him get his anger out on the guy. He's not going to tell us anything anyway. And then Dove starts just going off to her fight with Swan. And we see that, like, Swan had the drop on her with a knife. Dove blasts her with some energy magic stuff. And then Dove just starts wailing on her, just beating her face bloody. And Swan's like, I thought you were all about the peace thing. And Dove knocks her out, knocks her back with one good punch. He's like, I wasn't always. There's a whole thing about, I used to fight other people to eat. I used to deal with scum trying to do unimaginable things to me. I've lived through hell and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, she loses track of the knife. She tries to find it. She ends up getting dropped on by Swan, who throws the knife and stabs into her back. And then, for some reason, Swan is dissolved or absorbed into Dove. It's kind of unclear, but the knife is still there. And then we see that she's like, oh, right, Hawk still needs help. And that's where we picked up in the last issue. But she comes back here, and apparently she just spaced out for a second. And the detective's like, hey, Hawk wants us to go back in now. So they go back in, and Condor's like, all right, I've decided to talk to you because I am going to kill you, but I don't need to be Condor to do it. So he talks, and he says how the war circle is finally starting to dwindle down, and he's going to kill Hawk so that he can get the avatar out of it. And I'm basically assuming it's just Highlander rules if there can only be one. And Dove, he wants to kill because they don't know what Dove is. She's something weird, and anything you don't understand, you should kill. That's literally his words. And apparently, I'm just going to read exactly what he says here. Presumably, that's why you started hanging around with beings that mark you and make you avatars, and make the avatars inside you visible targets. So apparently, Deadman, being Dove's boyfriend, makes the avatar inside her more visible. And then Deadman literally just shows up, and he's like, hey, babe, is this a bad time? It's always a bad time. So then Hank's getting pissed because he's just like, what are you talking? None of this makes sense. And then he's like, oh, but I have more. Do you remember when Swan stabbed you, Dove? In actuality, because of Deadman's presence and spiritual hoo-ha, she just transcended to a different plane of existence, and she should be here right about now. And then Swan just shows up and grabs Deadman, completely invisible to everyone else, and Deadman's like, whoa, okay, she can touch me, this is weird, I don't understand what's happening. And then he just dissolves along with Swan, and Dove is like, what is happening? None of this is making sense. And Condor's like, well, basically we're going to need your boyfriend in order to do, find everybody else that's part of the avatar circle that we still haven't fully explained. But if, according to your watch, it's 12:05, which means you better step back. And then the wall to the interrogation room explodes. It's Dr. Quirk was apparently hired to break him out of jail. So they fight Hawk and Dove for a couple seconds. He steals the knife, and he's like, "Oh, we will kiss your boyfriend goodnight for you, Dove. See you soon." And Dove's just like, "Oh, we will find you, Condor. We will find you." And that's where it leaves off. This issue was dumb. Like, this issue was the perfect setup for the explanation of, like, what the hell is actually going on. Because, again, I have no idea. Like, I can pick up the generalities of it just because it falls into some poor storytelling and unoriginal ideas. But, like, what is the actual war circle? They bring it up 3 times, and then they don't really talk about it. Is there a peace circle? Is Dove, like, normal? There's a swan, so I have to assume Dove is somewhat normal. Like, nothing is being answered here. And then he just leaves saying, like, "Well, anyway, bye." As if he did. Like, the moment you had the interrogation scene is the moment, like, the moment you decided that this is where we explain things. But instead you just, like, had him just... And I get it. From, like, an actual villain standpoint, there was no reason for him to explain anything. I understand that. But storytelling-wise, this is just bad. I still don't understand anything, and we're only getting deeper into this ridiculously circuitous plot. I'm giving this one a 4. I don't, and nothing in the art is, like, great. I mean, it's not awful. The layouts are more so what I don't like. It's a whole lot of dead space on every page. Like, just a weird, like, gradient fill in the background whenever you can't see, instead of just black or white where it's not drawing my eye. Instead, they decide to make it draw my eye on every page. Nah, it's a 4. I don't expect better, but I want there to be. It's not good. It's not a good book. But hey, thanks for retweeting me that one time, Sterling Gaines. God damn it.